student. Alright, first episode, maybe this is the second, you never know, depends how we drop it. Depends. So for first, should we like introduce ourselves?
I don't know. Should we? We should, like Ray and Lucas dead ass though.
Yeah, like not too crazy. Like I hate them cheesy
Uh,
jokes like my name is Ray and I'm from I'm Ray. That's Luke. Lucas,
I'm
Lukey.
Lucas, Lukey baby, whatever you want to
Yeah,
call me, man.
You know. First pod. So we're gonna talk about first. So the top of your head. You remember your first pair of Jordans?
Yo, I was thinking about it too, man. I don't know if I remember my first pair of Jordans because remember I didn't really like Jordans. Remember
You was Nike.
I would know. Well, also I couldn't justify paying $200 for sneakers. I'm over here like, yo, you really dropping two bands on the sneakers? That's
Mhm.
crazy to me. Um, yo, that ass though.
That's gonna be
I
your
think
catchphrase.
I think my first pair of Jordans was probably the shit, what were they? Oh, matter of fact, you bought me my first pair of Jordans.
Oh, word?
Yeah, the cool gray nines. You remember you pulled up one day and you was like, yo, like, like you
Nah. You chatting though, because in high school you definitely had the Columbias.
oh, you know what? Yeah, I had a Columbias in high school. Yeah. I
Yeah.
completely forgot about those. But remember high schools, it was all SB Dunks and stuff. So I was rocking with
Yeah.
SB Dunks. All right. So yeah, first pair of Jordans was the Columbias, which you the one that sent it to me like, yo, these is vintage, they look cool, whatever. I met up with homie in front of Junior's Cheesecake in Flatbush. And
What?
yeah, he was in his whip and I'm standing, I'm looking around and he looking around and we kind of look at each other like, yo, you the person? He's like, yeah. Like, yo, I've been waiting for 10 minutes. Why you ain't say nothing? Yada yada yada. So whatever. So yeah, mine was the Columbia's first pair. What about you?
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't even know like it was a home. That's you see how different core memories. I don't remember sending you that.
Yeah, cause I remember like you
You
was the
wanted
one that
them.
was always no, but you was always the one who was like I never really liked Jordans like that growing up, and you was always a Jordan head. You was always more the sneakerhead than I was, and then you sent me those like yo, you like these, and I was like, oh yeah, those are tough, like those are hard or whatever. We didn't even use the word tough back then. What we used to say like, oh,
This
them
is
just as hard or whatever. I don't even
fire.
remember. It's just
Nah, I
as
think
fire.
tough.
Yeah,
Nah, we definitely said tough back then.
yeah. Oh, okay.
Because I remember
Um.
Najee. Shout out to Najee. He had a song go, "You know my baby tough, make it crazy." Remember
Mm,
that?
yes. Yeah.
You
Speaking of
remember that?
Najee, no, but yeah, because I remember he used to do music and then his shit got shut down or whatever, right? And then like, 'cause his mom like found out he was like cursing in his songs or something like that.
I don't remember that, but that's hilarious.
You don't remember that there, man? Yeah, different core memories, bro. Um.
So my first pair was the Chrome Eights. I remember me and Sharon got it's stupid too because me and Sharon are the same size at that age. So
Mm,
like we could have got one pair and another pair, but whatever. We both got the Chrome Eights. But I remember, I wanted them joints bad. The Chrome Eights came out, got them, and it made it worse back then because everybody had them. So you feel like you had to get them. I
mm.
remember we used to tuck in the bunny ears, da da da. But then I wore them like every day. But back then you could do that in fifth grade. Shit, I wore them every day. Wore
Uh,
them through the summer, and I try to keep them fresh enough to rock for sixth grade, so I can have those in the rotation.
I remember you had the bunnies and you used to curl. You used to curl the straps so it'd be like bunny
Mhm.
ears. Yeah,
That
I
was that was the
remember
way.
those.
What about the your first fight? You remember your first fight?
Bro, I never been in a fight, man. Like a fight like that. It was like little kid shit. Like I don't know. Like me and Justin got into a fight in the second grade or something like that. But it was like we was just like kicking and slapping each other
In school?
in school. Yeah, it was like recess, and it was something about I don't know. I don't even remember what it was about. But yeah, it was something stupid. But I got into like close fights, but I don't know. I'm low key pussy too because it's like whenever I got closer to a fight, my heart would start racing crazy, bro. So
No,
it
that's a
was always
fact.
and like your hands start shaking and shit.
Now, when I was
Um,
a kid, every fight I would get, I'll start crying. Even if I won, I'll start crying right after. Like,
and I remember you told me you used to get into a fight because someone would be bullying Sharon and you used to like hit him or something like that, you know?
that's who, man. I know, but see, I remember. So, just to quickly jump on it. One time, Sharon was remember the monkey bars that were like a rainbow?
It was like an arc, yeah, it was an
Yeah.
arc. Yeah.
So she was going up, and when she got to the top, there was a girl just coming up the other way, and then she just pushed Sharon off like like Mufasa, bro. So I ran up the I didn't run up. I went up the monkey bars real fast, and I pushed the girl off too. And then I went down to get Shannon. I had to bring Shannon to the nurse, and Shannon couldn't breathe.
Oh damn, bro! You probably want to like edit that out, man. You can't be pushing girls off the monkey bus. It's 2025. You know what I mean?
It is what it is. You know, it's funny. We don't remember who it was either. That person probably remembers. Like,
Man,
like Ray pushed me off the monkey.
nah, she a side character, bro.
I don't know who it was.
She an NPC.
My first fight though. Damn, I'm trying to remember if it was. Damn. No, I'm not remembering. It might have been like. Trying to think like you saying like side characters.
Yeah, but it's like I don't know. Like when you were a kid, I don't really consider those fights. You know what I mean? Like I feel like maybe middle school and up was where you actually was like squaring up and like fighting someone. I don't. Did you ever fight somebody in middle school?
Yeah. I remember middle. We went to New Horizons. Shout out to New Horizons, but I remember we was playing Uptown, and every time I go for the layup, there was a kid who kept pushing me into the gate. I don't remember the kid name either, and then every time I jump up, push me into the gate. So after a while, you're like, yo, next time you push me into the gate, watch. And he's like, so what's gonna happen? I was like, all right, watch. And of course, he gonna push me into the gate. So I just had to turn around and hit him. And it was one of those the fights which just with one hit, and then the teacher's like, hey! But I backed, you a kid, so I backed up just enough he can't hit me.
Yeah.
So it just looked like I won. But he was like, all right. But that was that fight in middle school.
You good. Hold on. Let me switch the battery in my John. Hold on.
Oh damn, technical difficulties on the first John. On the first John. Imagine we record it, we can hear it, and nobody else can. You can hear
me? Yeah, there we go. We're back. We're back.
Yo, I said a joke and I laughed about myself.
You do the podcast by yourself. Just do both sides. You know what I mean?
Other day he can't hear me, bro. We just ruined the whole thing.
Nah. It's all good. Nah, I gotta switch the batteries on these Johns every now and then. Oh, the other one wasn't even charging. That's crazy. All right, we'll be all right.
First job.
First official job, or like under the because I had jobs like where they would pay me under the table, or like first paycheck. You know what I mean?
Nah, under the table. Like first
under
job.
Under the table. First, all right. So first job. I was working for my pops because he had
Okay.
Remember he had the printing shop back then. A1A printing. Shout out A1A printing, man.
Yeah. Shout out.
And I was just working the front desk. So like everyone in my family at some point worked for my dad at the printing shop. It was like a rite of passage type situation. So it was just a front desk, like
child labor.
something. Yo, honestly, bro, I'm thinking about it, man. Like, I don't know, man. Like kids nowadays, bro, they don't really know, man, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like they just think money grow on trees, and I'm over here thinking like, yo, I remember when I thought like I didn't value money and shit like that until you work for your own money or whatever. But I was working for my pops at the printer shop, just doing like the front desk, like greeting people who would come in. I'll do like copies, I'll do faxes. And then when they wanted like actual orders and stuff like that, like I would go get my dad or my mom's and stuff like that, and then they would handle that. But yeah, that'd be my first actual job. Like my first official job with a paycheck was when I was a lifeguard.
At the pool.
At the pool, yeah. You never came to that pool, man. You was always scared to come through. I'm like, yo, come through. Everyone's mad cool. You're like, nah, who there? All right, maybe. Nah.
That was Queens?
That was in Queens. Yeah, that was in Regal Park, Queens. It was Park City. That was the name of the pool, and it was in the summer. But yeah, that was my first like job with like a paycheck type situation.
How was that?
Bro, it was cool, man. You 15, 16 years old, you know what I mean? It's out here, blowing your whistle at people like, running, no running, and no, Yeah. I don't know, man. It was cool, man. Honestly, I feel like at that age, you should have a job, bro, because it's like it teaches you responsibility. You get to like meet new people. You get to have your own money, so it's kind of like you get a little bit of financial independence. You know what I mean? So it's like instead of exactly. And so like instead of asking your parents like, oh, I want this, like, nah, if I wanted like something to eat, I'd go grab something to eat. You know what I mean? Buy my own food, buy my own sneakers, buy do my own back to school shopping type stuff. Because you remember, I don't know if you remember like back to school shopping, like. My mom's are still trying to go like to Payless, you know what I mean? I'll be like, let's go to Dr. J's. Like, what are you talking about? And I would pick out like 3 shirts and they come out to $100. She's like, it's 3 shirts for $100. We could buy so much more at like Old Navy or the Gap or something like that. You know, back then name brand was everything.
Yeah, shout out to the Gap though.
Shout out to the Gap, man.
I used to get my jeans for the Gap. I used to let it Gap. There was my first same thing. Like my pops worked for RCO with the auto deliveries. So or sometimes he'll just get like we say like under the table stuff. Like sometimes he'll give us like he'll pay me and my sister to go hand out the flyers and just put them on cars and stuff. And we had to get rid of the stack. And he would be like, "We got people watching, so don't just throw them out." But after a while, me and Sharon get tired. And I'm like, "Oh,
fuck that, got thrown out." Wow.
Child labor. Now you're gonna be tired, bro. After a while, you know. And then my first paycheck was when I was working at the restaurant with Abe. That was lit too, cause like it also showed me independence, because I was working right after school, go to the restaurant, get off maybe 11, 12, depending like how long the customers stay. And I remember my pops calling me. He's like, "Yo, I heard you got a job, but keep your grades up, or your mom ain't gonna let you keep that job." And sure enough, I had to quit.
Yeah, I had to quit because your grades. I remember you was working during the summer there, right?
I started during the school semester though.
But then you worked like throughout the whole. I remember because like you was breaking out. You was like, "Yo, it's the kitchen, it's the grease, it was all this, whatever." I remember because it was like we didn't talk that whole summer because I was busy working and you was busy working or whatever. And then I had to drop something to you to the restaurant or whatever, and I seen you and you was like, I was like, "Damn, Ray, what's going on, bro?" He's like, "Yo, I know the kitchen got me all broken out and shit." But I forgot about Abe restaurant.
It was definitely the case. It was two though. The one I worked in, the first one I worked in was his uncle's. And then the second one was his father's, and that's the one I was in all summer. The one after when we did during school, that one was like on decal. And that was cool. We just link it right after school and we go. It was a chill shift because nobody really go out to eat during the week. But every now and then you'll get like a Yankee game or something like that. And so those would be the late nights. And then me, I was always the bus boy. And I remember they got tight at me because I came to work with the tie on. So the owner's wife was like, "Yo, he's gonna be the busboy, and tomorrow everybody got to wear a tie." And all the waiters like, "Yo, come on, Ray,
come on, man." Like, this freaking guy, man.
I was like, "Yo, you gotta come correct. You gotta go correct." But I wasn't even like just a tie. I had my tie with the sweater over it. You know, I was just getting.
Yeah, you always had that fit, man.
It was just part of the fit. So I was going into it like, you know, and I wanted to make a good first impression because I knew already we were kids. So, so I was trying to look older too. You know how you try to look a little older? So that's what it really was.
How old were you? 15, 16?
Yeah, probably 16, 16.
16. It's crazy too because I was watching a TikTok video that they was talking about like kids in the 90s or whatever. Like, so you mean you was outside with no phone, your parents didn't know where you was, and you got home at what time? And it was like you know, sometimes it was like until the sun went down, you know, you go home or whatever.
And you work it. Yeah, I can't even imagine how. I mean, they're probably proud of you when you tell them, "Yo, I got a job, so I'm gonna be home late today." So they're like, "Wait, wait, what you mean?" First, they might think you're lying, like you got a job, but then when they see you come home and you fucking beat,
you get tired, you know. And she's like, "Clean your room," and you're like, "No, I'm tired, man."
I remember what I got first album.
First album that I bought with my money, Marshall Mathers LP.
I knew you was gonna say that too. I knew what I was gonna say.
Bro, so all right, I'm about to date myself because we old heads, right? I don't know if you remember the store Nobody Beats the Wiz. Yo, so it was this store. It was Nobody Beats the Wiz. It was on Fulton Mall, and that's where you would buy like your TV. Think of it like Best Buy, but without the video games, right? So that's where you would buy your TVs, your stereo systems, your CDs, your VHS tapes and stuff like that. So whenever we had money, you know, we would go buy CDs over there. So I went with my sister, my cousin, and I picked out Marshall Mathers LP. You know, at the time I liked Eminem because he came out with like the Real Slim Shady, and I thought that was funny. Like the music video was cool, whatever. And I bought it. Looking back at it, bro, I was in the second grade. I had no business listening to that album, bro. I literally like listening to Eminem now. I'm just like, yo, no wonder my mom really hated this man because I had no business listening to that guy, man. That music is traumatizing. But I loved it, man. I would listen to it. I knew I wasn't allowed to listen to it, so I knew what time my mom came home from work. So I would play it, and then when it was time, whatever, for her to come home, I would like hide the CD. She
I think
eventually like listened to it and she just took it away from me though.
I think that was everybody when it came to Eminem. Same thing. My
Yeah,
mom heard it because you could probably hear it busting through the headphones.
headphones. Yeah,
But I also think it started going around. Like, is your kid listening to Eminem? Like on the news
yeah,
type shit.
probably, yeah.
My first was Blueprint. The first Blueprint.
How'd you get
Like,
it though?
I got it. So my dad used to work on this hardware store in Canal Street, and right next to it, see, I'm a South Foul right now. Right next to it, just the bootleggers. So I was
Mm.
like, "Yo, y'all got the Blueprint?" And like, we got everything." After that, I eventually getting like the Marshall Mathers. I got the Shaggy album. Anybody who was hot album right
Stop
next to
it. Yeah.
wasn't the real album, but that's how I think everybody was getting albums back then. Like you say you ain't get a bootleg album, you chatting, but obviously 50 drop, you get the real one, because you want to see the pictures and the cover arts.
And that's I don't know. That's kind of how it was too before you started like illegally downloading music online, right? That was I mean, it was fire though because you would go to a shop, look at the CDs, like, oh, I want this, I want that, I want that, and that's when you really actually got to know the song because that's all you had, right? Um, I don't know. I was thinking about that the other day, like when you went to school with a CD player with your Walkman, you had to choose what you was gonna listen to all day.
That's true. That's true. But you also didn't get
You know
like
what I mean?
enough time at that age to really bump. So you really,
Yeah.
because we would like walk to school, and then in high school we started doing like the 30-40 minute ride to school.
Yeah, but by high school, iPods were already a thing, and like the iPhone started coming out and stuff like that. But yeah,
I
I was
remember
thinking
you
about
speaking of first, you was the first one with an iPod and the iPhone. At
that.
least people I
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I was hyped, bro. Son. This was before you even had apps, dog. So it's like
For real.
you didn't even like. There was no apps. So if you wanted an app, you had to do what was called the web app, which is basically like a bookmark on the home screen. And yeah, and I remember like I always wanted a sidekick, bro, because I always wanted to be on AIM
Mm,
on my phone, but my
yeah.
parents didn't give me a sidekick, so whatever. My sister got me the iPhone, and even then, you couldn't be on AIM. You had to like go on the web browser, and they would log you out after a certain time.
I remember you and Tariq had the iPhone, bro. And
Yeah,
I just remember like, yo, that's why, like, yeah, like you ain't supposed to be having this, bro. Like I remember I went to Tariq's deli or bodega after school, and he was just like, "You want to see? I got it, bro." And I was like, "Yo, let me see it, bro." Pause. He's like, I was like, "No way, bro." He's like, "Yeah, bro." I don't
yeah,
remember how much it cost back then.
it's 400.
So he's like, "It was like 400, bro." So I was just like,
It's
"No
400.
way, bro. You're not supposed to have this."
Yeah, but that was also back in the day where like you had to. The only reason it was 400 was because you had to sign on to the carrier for like a 2-year contract. So they like subsidized it to 400. So it was supposed to be more if you bought it out without the contract or whatever. But and then that was back then when it was only exclusive to what was it, T-Mobile or AT&T? It was
I
only
think it was
exclusive.
AT&T.
It was
AT&T.
AT&T, but it was only. I don't know if you remember that the iPhone was only available for the AT&T,
No, I
and then
remember that.
later in life, obviously, like now you can get it for every carrier. But
I
yeah,
remember not everybody had like T-Mobile was like oh, you got T-Mobile. And it's like, what? What's wrong with T-Mobile? What's wrong with T-Mobile? That's what my parents got.
bro, I look back at it, bro, and it's like, man, optics was everything. So you
Hmm.
wouldn't even care that your family couldn't afford it. You know what I mean? You was like, yo,
Yeah.
I need this. I need this brand. I need this carrier. They're gonna make fun of me at school.
No, but shout out to Sharon, but I think Sharon was always more like that, and I was always the more conscious one. Like Sharon be like, "Yo, I need those Jordans," and then I'll be like, "Nah, I already got one in September. I'm good." Like
Oh,
that.
you was a
I,
good kid then.
yeah, I was that one. So my mom or my pops always like, "All right, we good already." It was never like, "You sure?"
Yeah.
But that maybe it's just being nah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just I don't know. I was just analyzing things. But then once I got like I said, once I started working, I was getting whatever I wanted. But I also used to save a lot too. So even as a
I
kid.
remember you used to save your allowance and then you would go on like
Hmm.
on a big shopping spree.
Exactly. So that felt like I wasn't spending any money because I was just spending what they was giving me for like pizza or like Subway, and then I'll just buy like a pair of sneakers. I found some good ones, so I was like, while we was jumping on topics, oh, I like this one. The first time you realized you were good at something.
Damn, that's a good one, man. The first time I realized I was good at something.
Like first thing that come to mind. Don't even try to
First thing that come to mind, basketball.
That's what I was thinking.
I always played soccer because my dad loves soccer. You know, I'm Colombian, and we play soccer, whatever. But I remember playing uptown and like having a lot of fun, and I could shoot. Yeah. And I was like, yo, for whatever reason, I had good accuracy when I shot, and then that's when I started realizing, like, yo, I really like basketball, and I started like practicing until I got nice. But that was the first time I realized, yo, I could actually be good at something. You know what I mean? Like I could be like this is something I could be good at.
That's what sometimes I wish I went to BCS for middle school because you was the only one I played ball with.
So I remember because your mom used to be like, yo, take him out, go play, go play basketball, go exercise. He don't exercise.
Yeah, so my mom was like, go over Lucas. He came. What time we got back? So he came back sweaty. Pause. I remember that. I got another one. First time you felt like an adult.
First time I felt like an adult. When I had to learn how to cook.
That's a great one. That's a fact.
When I had to learn how to cook, when I went away for college, I didn't know how to do my laundry. I didn't know how to cook. I didn't know how to do none of that shit, right? So I learned how to do laundry or whatever. Like someone from the dorm taught me. And then when I moved out and like lived, I didn't live on campus no more. I lived in one of the apartments like my junior year. And then my boy Vincenzo, shout out Vincenzo. He's the one. He's Puerto Rican from the islands, and he taught me how to cook. So whatever. My mom always used to try to teach me how to cook, but she was always like micromanaging, and I didn't have the patience for it. But Chenzo would always show me like, yo, this is how you season stuff or whatever. Like this is how you know the rice is done. This is how you know your beans is done and all that shit. So I started cooking, and I was like, damn, man, this is a lot of work. People be doing this shit every day. It's crazy. and then you gotta wash dishes, and then you gotta go grocery shopping. I'm like, yo, this is crazy, man. How people live like this?
And the trial and error, bro. Like when you make something wrong, or you burn something, or like I don't know. This is kind of off. You eat it. You eat it, but you like, damn, I'm tomorrow better. Like there'll be sometimes like when I first started cooking, like my chicken was coming out fire, and there was one time like, damn, that could have been in there an extra 5 minutes.
Bro, nah, for real. And there's times like when my rice would come out mad salty, and it's like, yo, I made it. I paid for this. I gotta eat this, man.
Yeah, your headphones died?
Yeah, my headphones died.
That's going in.
Yeah.
I was gonna.
A good one though, first time. What about you, man?
Oh, first time I felt like an adult. I forgot I didn't even answer it. I was gonna. The first thing that comes into my head was like when Sam and we were buying furniture, and we're just like, yo, furniture got expensive, buddy. Yo, this furniture, like, what? Just for that little thing right there. First time getting furniture. I remember this was like a more. This is just like still when I was with my moms and stuff. But like when I bought my mom an AC, and I was like, how much the AC? How much? Bugging out, bro. Thinking of AC like $40. I mean, you probably get on the streets for that low, but AC was a little up there too. But yeah, first time buying furniture, and I feel like an adult right now. And even then, when I felt like at that age, when I was in there, I felt like I was a kid when like the salespeople were talking to you and stuff.
Yeah.
But now we're starting to get the sirs and stuff like that.
Now we get the sirs, but it's funny. Sometimes I don't even feel like an adult, man. But yeah.
No, that's a fact.
It's crazy because even now, like I still feel like even now there's moments, and maybe this is how our parents felt and parents before them, where there's like moments like throughout your life where you just still feel like really you don't know what you're doing type situation, and then it hits you and you're like, oh shit, I actually did that, or I could do that, or like, yo, that was really stressful. I don't know how my parents did it. And you really figuring it out. Like you said, like I know now everything's really expensive, but like, inflation back then was, stuff was expensive too. So you really start thinking like, yo, how did my parents do it, dog? Like pay the bills, keep me fed, buy my sister and me gifts, like keep us happy. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, they was really working, scraping by. So it's like crazy. It's crazy when you really like think back about it.
I always say them coming from another country and just coming over here because we go to different states and we feel out of place. And it's just like, yo, I don't belong. Yo, they looking at me like, who that? Yo, But imagine going to a whole other country, bro, and the new language.
No, our parents are from here. Citizens.
Holding it down strong, bro.
Funny because that actually plays into the theme of first, because we're first generation here.
First generation. Woo, chatting, boy. Yo, W's in the chat.
Chat, man. First generation.
W's in the
First
chat.
generation here.
That's crazy. First generation. That's hard. Just saying, first time you felt out of place.
Oh, yo, first
Yeah.
time I felt out of place was when I went away to college. I went to New Haven in Connecticut, and I don't know. I'm so used. We grew up in New York, so it's like it's so diverse. You find your people type situation. In New Haven, I really couldn't. I really couldn't find my group. You know what I mean? I always kind of felt like I had like imposter syndrome. And it's couldn't really make friends. People had like different sense of humors. Nobody understood my sense of humor, and it was like I don't know. Like I'm not a comedian, but I'd be able to make people laugh sometimes. In New Haven, nobody was laughing at my shit. Like, is that a joke? You serious? So it was just weird. No one was like a sneakerhead, so I didn't really have no one to relate to on that. The only time I would relate to people was playing ball. That was it, man. But yeah, that was my first real step out of New York City and realized like, yo, New York City is unique. There's no place like New York City in the world.
You remember the first time you got detention?
Never got detention.
Never got detention? You chatted. Yo, W's in the chat. You got
W's in the chat. Nah, I got suspended once, but that was it.
Okay, it says that suspension. Why you got suspended?
Bro, so I don't know if you remember open neck.
Open neck, yeah.
Yeah, so someone had open neck, you know what I'm saying? You slapped the back of their neck. So I did it to this Asian kid, Hikaru. I'll never forget it, man. I felt terrible.
Shout out.
Shout out Hikaru, man. He was mad. So So he was a little different too, because I think his parents had just moved from somewhere or whatever, but he had a little bit of an accent. He was a little off. He was a little, he's an oddball. And like people used to like, mess with him or something, right? So one time we in class, I seen his open neck, so I fucking slapped the shit out of him, bro.
Oh, damn.
Crying, and then it made like loud noise, and then I got suspended. But even afterwards, he came out to me, he was like, yo, we're cool, right? And I was like, yeah, we're cool, man. I'm sorry or whatever. So I felt bad, but it was just like when you got kufi, bro. When you had a skin fade, you was getting kufi. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I used to have the skin fade. I used to get the open neck and the kufi and all that.
Yeah.
Tight.
But yeah, suspended, man. What about you, man? First time. What was it?
Detention or get suspended. See, but thing in middle school, it depends on the level of it. But in middle school, like detention sometimes was like suspension in the office for a week. Like the same thing in high school. Oh no, maybe not detention after school. But in middle school, it was me. I think it was me, Daquan, and one other person, bro. And we would, and then we was just running through the halls. Run through halls, just like we got out, we like snuck out of the class. We just run through the halls, just being stupid. And then there was a kid in the hall, and we grabbed him. He's like in the way. We was like, get the fuck out of the way. We grabbed him and flung him, and he fell back, and his head bounced off the floor. You know them hallway floors.
Yeah.
Like that. He said, boom. And the nurse said, and his mom said like he couldn't see for like a minute. And stuff like that, yo. So they had us in there for a week. We all had to write a note saying we sorry. That was but I felt mad. I couldn't see I couldn't look him in the eye, ever again, bro. Even in high school, I couldn't look him in the eye.
Damn, that's crazy, bro.
I felt mad bad, bro, because I'm like, I ain't want to make, cause I first of all, I don't like being like nobody bullying anybody, none of that. So I'm just like, I hope he ain't feel that way. Hope he ain't like go home like. That's what I was thinking about. Like, hope he ain't go home like, why they did that to me when we were just being stupid, running around, and we just flung him because he was in the way. But yeah. On a sad note.
Nah, on a sad note. What about first time you felt out of place?
Oh, first time I felt out of place. I would say same thing. And, low key in middle school too, because I feel like in middle school, in elementary, we was all just mad close, and we all knew each other. And when we got to middle school, I just felt like every day it was just you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know who your friends are. Every day was meet a new friend. I was getting cooler with somebody a little more like every month. That's how it felt. So I've always felt out of place a little bit in middle school, low key.
That's fair.
And you only there for a short while too, so it's like you're just passing through.
But it's crazy, man, because you're only there for a short while, right? 3 years. But when you in it, it feels like eternity, bro.
Forever. No, it does.
Forever. And then you just reminded me, whenever you got cool with someone else, the person you used to be cool with would get like jealous and stuff, bro.
I think people still like that now. Like
people ain't go out of it, but it's just like that always was like weird to me, bro. It's like, so what, man?
But what do you mean, like jealous? Like the people.
Like if you was like, let's say you and me was hanging out all the time, right? But then you start hanging out with a friend, and I'm over here like, yo, why you like yo, let's hang out, and then you'd be like, all right, I'm gonna invite this person, and I'm like, nah, why it can't just be you and me?
You
Like,
me? Oh, I
You know
know
what I mean?
exactly. I know exactly who that sound like. That's all like. Nah, yeah, that's.
Yes.
But low key, detention was mad fun that week though. And the teachers in detention was just teasing us the whole week. Like, cause y'all don't know how to. They were like, all right, we gotta go walk to the lunchroom now, cause obviously y'all don't know how to walk.
Bro, that's something you always, your whole life, you always did this. You always make everything sound fire, bro. even like class assignments, when you were in school doing class assignments, like, yo, school not fun, dog. What you talking about? It was mad fun.
That's hilarious.
But it's like even the tension. You're like, yo, the tension. Someone said a joke. It was, you know, this dude, he a righty, but he started writing with his left hand. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You just have a way to like enhance stories, man. You a storyteller.
I'm a storyteller. Yo, shout out Jesus, man. Jesus is a storyteller. Nah, I mean, maybe just find the good in everything. But remember, I used to always try to think of like joke of the day. So if somebody says something, I'll just be like recording it in my mind, like, yo, that was hilarious. Let me make sure I remember that later. But I always like a good joke.
Nah, you remember we should say that? Where it's like, yo, I had a fun. Like at the end of the day, like, yo, I had this joke, had the whole rolling, bro.
Joke of the day.
Joke of the day, man.
Joke of the day. You probably had joke of the day on this podcast.
Nah. You know what joke of the day? I'll never forget it, man. My first day in Teller. My first day in Teller, man. Tell me what, whatever. You know, we met each other in the mornings. You meet AR, then we meet up with Matt and like a bunch of people, right? End of the day, we outside, bro. We outside of the school. I see Matt. Yo, Luke, I ain't see you all day. You in the ed?
I remember that. I remember that. We was crying.
Bro, I was like, what do you mean? He's like, yo, all day, bro.
I remember that.
Hey, bro.
Nah, tears. I remember that. It is funny because we, like me and you, we didn't have a class together until senior year.
Bro, they never put us together, and I don't understand because your name Espinoza and my name Diaz, so it's like DE come right afterwards, bro. We never got a class together.
Nah, it was on purpose. They don't want the friends rubbing off on the friends. Like,
you think they really knew who was Crudo?
Yeah, because I remember going into like the offices and stuff, and they'll know who was dating, who was beefing.
Oh, they did know that.
Yeah, who didn't get along, who not to sit next to each other. So yeah, they definitely always with them too. Put him first period, him second period. Yeah. You know what I mean? You know, because they're gonna be copying homework. Doing the essays 2-4 in the morning, bro. I don't know how we was doing that, bro. And why we would think we would make quality work at that time.
Honestly, man, we thought we was spitting out like, you know, timeless pieces, bro. Because it was funny too, because we would be like, we would hit each other up on AIM, like, yo, you did the paper? Like, nah, I'm about to start right now. And it'd be like, fucking midnight, bro.
And they'd be like, yo, you started yet? Nah.
Nah, you started yet? We'd be like, nah, I can't start on like a, you know, I gotta start on like the 0:00. You know what I mean? I can't. On a fresh hour.
Yo, that was me always. It's 12:15. Gotta wait till 1.
Bro, what we used to just procrastinate with it, because
I think it was AIM.
It was AIM, right? We would just be talking with mad people, right? Because it wasn't like we was watching TV. It wasn't like we was playing online video games. Like online, like playing online wasn't really that big of a thing back in the day when we was growing up. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing. We were all doing our essays, so we were all on AIM.
It was all on AIM, yeah, man. And as soon as you heard that door open, you know what I mean? You're like,
oh. and then if I would hit you and you'd be like, yo, you started? You'd be like, yeah, I'm like on paragraph 4. But like, oh, all right, so I gotta start. Because once people start signing off, it's like, oh, damn.
Bro, core memories all flooding back. Because I remember, staying up mad late doing the paper. Then I remember trying to get to school early so you can go to the library and print it out. And if you got late, you know, Mr. Young was always good morning. You know what I mean? Always giving you shit, and you had to go to class. You couldn't go to the library, and if you was late, it was a problem. Damn, bro, really bringing it back.
I was saying that too. You remember we had to print it too. It's not like we had a link to submit it.
Sometimes we just submit it.
Nah, we had like discussion boards like senior year, but we never got to submit the whole essay.
No. We had to submit it because they had to
turn it in.
They had turn it in. You remember turn it in because they had to check it for plagiarism.
You're right. I think we had to, but we also needed a physical copy though.
So you had to turn it in online, and then you needed the physical copy to like hand it in person because then that's what they would grade. The turn it in was just to make sure that we didn't plagiarize.
Yo, I remember. Then you get there and there's mad people trying to print. So you're just like, oh man, I ain't gonna make it, boy. And then the worst thing is if you had like English that first period. I don't think we did though, but we probably have like history that first period.
You had English,
but yo, we did when we was walking through it. You want me to end the recording now, or you want to say something to end it?
No, we can say something to end it. Yeah.
What the?
Oh yeah, that's the reaction.
Oh, so you're fired for that.
Thumbs up or something like that. Yeah.
Yo, that's dope. Nah, yeah.
Does this work? No.
I don't know. I was just like, yo.
Because this should not work. Whatever, it don't matter.
My shit just elite.
But yo, first podcast, man need to come. You know what I mean? We're talking about all talks of life. If y'all got any comments, if you got anything we want to talk about, if you want to be a guest or whatever, comment below. All this shit, yada yada yada.
There you go. Perfect. I ain't even gonna edit that. Just like that. Love y'all. Thanks for watching.
Peace.
Love.